everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back. If this is your... Oh, crap. I made a mistake last week when I said it was the episode... I lost what episode we're on. I'm so sorry. Welcome to your Matlock episode review where I'm so in tune with the show I forgot what the episode number is. I'll fix that next week. I apologize. It's been a very, very stressful couple days for my brain. So I completely had a brain fart. If you don't understand what's going on, I got some personal stuff happen the last few days. We got Reacher starting up tomorrow. We got Suits LA starting up next week. We still got Rookie. We still got Matlock. I got After the Theaters. And I still got to go back to collection comments. So I am jam-packed in my brain right now when it comes to YouTube content. For better or for worse. So I've been a little bit preoccupied to the point I forgot what episode of Matlock we're. I want to say we're on episode 12. It kind of feels like an episode 12 type of episode. If it's episode 13, damn, we're on the final 5 stretch. But again, I could be wrong. But with all that being said, new episode this week. This, honestly, I really want to say this makes into the top 5 episodes of the show. I think this was a really well done episode. It really, for me, I relate to it a good amount. The legal premise of it, what's going on in the background, obviously with the forefront of what's going on with our characters, and because of my own history with the subject, so I'm I kind of felt a little bit for certain aspects of it, and at the same time, it's just this, we're at a very crucial point where it feels like certain things have progressed for the better, and then at the end it's oh no, this is trouble in paradise, especially when we're trying to be approaching that final marker where it kind of, we're usually okay, we're ready for the Matlock twist, we're ready for the thing that we weren't expecting until it kind of gets explained to us, and then when you kind of realize oh right, the oh wow moments or sort of thing. Regardless of that, I think this was a fantastic episode. I really think it's in the top 5 for me right now. And I'm very excited to see how the rest of the season go. And I'm very saddened because it's sad in a good way, because I have 3 other shows to remember live for the review content portion of it. That I'm kind of scared that I don't know about Reacher season 3 or Suits LA. I don't know anything about it. I haven't heard any reviews yet. I've been trying to keep myself far away from that as possible, but the fact is that I'm scared what if those shows are great too, and I'm oh great, there's 4 great shows, and I'm I completely forgot what's going on with Matlock. I'll do my best, everyone. I'll do my best. But with that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Matlock. So we begin in this very, not totally goofy, more it's an obvious ploy of what they're trying to do here. We wake up, it's Maddie's husband. He wakes up after Maddie comes into the bedroom and says you lied to me. There's the email's right there on the phone, and I'm how does she get access to the email account on the phone? It's it's interesting, and obviously she starts yelling at him, and he's I needed more time. This was too stressful. I couldn't decide whether or not we were going to introduce Alfie's dad in less than 24 hours. Not even the 100% the confirmation of it, but more the possibility of bringing him into our lives. And then I said, well, it's too bad because he's right downstairs. And I'm yeah, as soon as she said that, I'm yeah, we're in a nightmare zone. He wakes up, he's in bed, he's having one of his cold sweats. Maddie tries to comfort him, but he just immediately gets up and just starts doing things basically. I believe we cut to the next, once it's daytime and everything, where he's cleaning up the fridge, which we've all been there before, trying to it's been a long time since I cleaned out the fridge. It's been 5-10 years since we moved into this residence. So I'm it's been a while. It's been a little bit of time. Actually, not really that long. It's been a good amount of months. Maddie goes down. She tries to console him, trying to see, are you okay? What's going on? That's sort of spiel. I'm just making sure we're recording. And he's no, I'm okay. I'm good. And he starts going back to where they were really focusing on is the case, where again, kind of a pseudo recap of the last week, where now they kind of know there's a marketing angle that Shay, who is not Pedra. I finally got her name, but I still don't know Maddie's husband's name, which says a lot. So not only know there was an angle with the marketing aspect for Wexbrack, I already forgot the name of the legal documents. They're trying to find out that most likely there is a even more bigger cultability if the main manufacturer knew this was going to be addicting, and they still was trying to spin it in a positive way to promote sales. So now they got to find a way, and again, all eyes are on Julian right now, since again, Shay, I don't believe she was closely directed at the time there, and Senior was out of country, so it had to be Julian, since they're still not thinking of Olympia right now. And she's like, yes, that's what we got to do. And she'll find a way to get access to things. She'll find a way. And then we cut her to the security room of the law firm, where she's claiming that she lost her purse. She's trying to, retrace her steps. And the security guard, like, again, believing into this old sweet lady act, just gives her like a printout of like, all of her last known locations. And yeah, so at least as an example of what could be done, which I'm still a little confused by, to be honest with you, what the end goal is. Again, we didn't really clarify that in this episode, to be honest with you. Hopefully the next episode or two, we do figure out what the play is with the key cards. But yeah, at least to let us know, like, they can bring up history on the cards. So hopefully this will be key to figuring out what Julian's been hiding, or where he's been going to hide the potential documents. Meanwhile, we come back to Olympia, ready to start her day, and immediately Sarah's ready to take this mentorship, like kicking it off on the high end. She wrote up a presentation of what they should be doing on one of the big cases for the day. However, Olympia does want to handle a minor case right now. It's a custody battle arrangement. It's for her. She could be able to get this done in the afternoon, and once they're done with that, they can go on the bigger fish right now for the day. And again, Sarah's being a little bit too close for comfort, definitely, everything that's been going on with her, she kind of needs this to work out, and the energy is there, I'll say that much, but it kind of seems like she's really like being a little bit too overeager with this whole ring. And I think even Olympia is like kind of like second guessing the entire arrangement. And also beforehand, I forgot she was trying to get the babysitter to cover one of her days off, but she was unable to. So she was trying to switch with Julian, but obviously that doesn't really work out. So their little mentorship / one-sided mentor relationship comes to a close for the moment, as she heads out to go chase after Julian, who she immediately berates for not accepting a trade-off for the Knights. And Julian's like, I know why you're doing this. You just want to sweet talk more clients so you can get more attention with the partners to benefit your case to be a partner yourself. So why would I assist with that? And obviously Olympia, which again, she's thinking of herself and hopefully that Julian would at least give her a fair chance here, is like, wow, you're being petty over this. And Julian's like, yep, I am, because again, like, we are in the middle of a divorce. We are in the middle of, nowhere near reconciliation. So I'm like, why should she help? Why should she help? Why should he help her? That's basically the point of the day. Which again, Julian does have a point. I mean, I've never been through a divorce myself, but at the end of the day, like, there's only, like, eventually there's a point where you gotta focus on yourself at a certain point. Like, you can be as helpful as you can be, but if it starts to not be beneficial, okay, let me not use that word specifically, but more like, I forgot what I was gonna say. I'll be honest with you there, but it does not end well, and they're now Olympia's stuck without a sitter, so she can't pursue her original plans as intended. Sarah is back in the associate's office. Billy walks in. Billy is immediately pulling a Drake from Drake and Josh when Josh said he was done. Oh no, remember when Josh from Drake and Josh when Josh said he was done. If you remember that episode, where he's like trying to be civil, trying not to engage with Sarah that much. He's literally trying to be an independent associate right now. He's trying to be his own boss. Trying to be his own man. Because he has the support of basically no one. Obviously, Sarah's trying to, get back in his good graces, but again, he's not really in the mood right now to do any of that. He's not written off Sarah, but he's more like, he doesn't really see Sarah as someone that's going to be on his team, basically. Because when you're friends, you got to be on each other's team, whether it's, positive or negative and these sort of things. Maddie comes in, immediately kind of, rekindles the room a little bit with some neutrality. Sarah finally apologizes to Maddie, which it wasn't like a big, like, somber, like, no problem. It was more like, okay. I mean, like we said, Maddie's got bigger fish to fry. So her little conflict with Sarah isn't really it's not really on her radar right now. I want to say Olympia summons the three of them, kind of getting them filled in on the whole custody battle thing. They're already I think they've been divorced officially. They already have like kind of a set custodian agreement. However, there's just been some issues with the child support payments. Supposedly, the ex-husband has been going through some rough times at work, so he no longer has the funds to afford it. But the ex-wife does say that no, he has 3 offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, which I'm just like, I want to ask once I wrap up this episode, I'm going to call my friend. I'm going to explain to me what makes the Cayman Islands so great to have offshore accounts. Like, I really want to know what the hell is going on over here. I really want to know. And then we're getting more spiel between Sarah and Billy, kind of catching up Maddie on the case as well, trying to figure out what is what. And Sarah, again, trying to establish herself like, I am now Olympia's primary, being her mentoree. So I'm going to really, take advantage of my new position of power. But immediately Maddie just usurps her, kind of goes back on her left-hand side. And Sarah just like is so flabbergasted. Because again, she's trying to be valuable to the team. Again, already Maddie's the golden goose for Olympia, and Billy won his first case. So Sarah really doesn't really have much of a thing besides his mentorship type of thing. So she really is trying to like solidify her placement here. And then once Olympia specifically said this could potentially be a custody battle, then that kind of triggers PTSD in Maddie's head, as when Olympia asks her, have you ever been part of a custodian case? And then that's when Maddie flashbacks to probably 8 or 9 years ago, around there. I'm not really sure of the time period, where, this is the moment where Maddie and her husband were trying to get custody of Alfie away from their daughter, who we finally see on camera. Not 100% really for better. And she's kind of remembering the trauma they've been through, considering the fact, again, it's not a very comfortable matter to basically take your own grandson from his mom. And we'll cut to more of the specific details in a second, but just seeing her having to muster up the strength to go on the stand to begin to testify about, like, yeah, I'm here to take away my grandson from his mother because she's still a drug addict. She cannot be trusted really to raise her child alone. And that's kind of where, the PTSD started. But we cut back to the present day where, again, Maddie just says, no, I have no history in the area. And she's like, okay, well, we'll take it from here. Maddie's going to go do an offsite call because, again, she's trying not to re-trigger those moments, personally speaking. So we cut to the primaries, the defendant. We have the ex-wife, the ex-husband, Olympia, Sarah, Billy, and the ex-husband's attorney ready to try to go through this. Again, Olympia's just making it straightforward. Like, look, just resume your payments. We could stop this from ever hitting to court. And they're just like, no, there's no more money. Like, my client, sadly, is going through some rough time. He can't justify those payments anymore. And Olympia's like, well, you have 3 offshore accounts. Like, are those just magically drained as well? And obviously he gets mad at her for, like, that was between us. You shouldn't be exposing that to your own lawyer. Like, that's between, we may be divorced, but that's kind of like a secret of confidentiality that I have 3 offshore accounts. And he gets mad about it eventually, to the point where, like, we don't get to that specific moment there, but he does get mad, especially when Olympia says, like, if you don't pay up now, I will go to court and I will expose you for having these secret accounts. And guess what? The IRS will also be on your ass. He doesn't subject. He just gets up, leaves, and, takes his attorney with him. And then Julian just kind of has this, like, lingering moment where he's like, oh no, I know that phase. I know that phase very well. I know what it is. Where would we go from here? I forgot what the next scene was. I really did. I think it was a Maddie-centric scene moment. I completely forgot what the next scene was. Yeah, no, I can't remember. I literally do not remember what happens after we see Julian's, like, make that face. I don't exactly remember. I believe we just cut straight to the courtroom, where Olympia and her client are ready to, like, kind of, assume he's going to be a no-call, no-show, and they're going to rule in their favor, and this will all be over. However, he does walk in with a new attorney. It's Julian. All for the matter of spiting Olympia for, like, this. And then as soon as the two start bickering in the courtroom, obviously the judge calls them over and is like, divorced couple, aren't you? And it's like, yep. And it's like, okay, well, In the other matter, I would have immediately dismissed this case because of conflict of interest between the counsels. But however, since this is a domestic dispute, that it would be up to your clients to verify if it's worth the risk to have, you know, a divorced couple, you know, of one side represent the other, if that is in the best agreement. If they could both sign on front end, then yeah, we'll continue forward with the trial. Meanwhile, outside, Sarah and Billy are kind of, well, mostly Sarah's kind of like side-eyeing. I believe it's one of the ex-husband's attorney team members, who apparently turns out to be Sarah's rival from when they were in law school. It's kind of one of those weird one-sided things where, like, you know, she doesn't really see this as a rivalry while Sarah does. And so it's like, it's kind of like weird, like, you know, like, I don't know how to express it really. It's more along the lines of, there is a rivalry, but at the same time, it may be blown out of proportion. And Billy, again, trying to stay neutral out of it. He just really is not, like, trying to be on Sarah's good graces today. He's really not even trying to be close to her right now. But the other associate walks up to them. They catch up a little bit. Seems like they already have a little bit of a banter going, so I forgot if they already did meet each other in the previous episode. I apologize. But yeah, but again, she seems very nice, very respectful. They're just doing the due diligence of their bosses and trying to get through this case best as possible. And again, you know, like to have a little friendly competition, see who's gonna win or not. Actually, I don't remember. Is this on Julian's team? I completely forgot. I'm already lost here on that front. Because I'm realizing, well, if it was the ex-attorney, it wouldn't make sense for her to still be on board. So it's got to be Julian's, one of his personal attorneys. I don't remember. I'm a little lost there myself. But Sarah does get her skin kind of crawled up when, like, she makes some choice comments about her. So, like, she's kind of like, you know, especially with her, yeah, your breath kind of stinks when you're, like, kind of, you know, worked up a little bit. So it's like, damn. And Billy's just like, even he flirts with her a little bit, which I'm like, damn, Billy does not care about Sarah's opinions right now at all. But they're proceeding to go forward with the case itself, so they get summoned in. They begin their opening deliberations. Julian trying to paint the picture of, like, the mom is not, you know, exactly forthcoming as well. She's not exactly innocent. She's been trying to, like, you know, placed her son in a position where he's going to benefit the mom more than him, where, yeah, the dad is more stern, like most dads are, but the mom is kind of like, you know, buttering him up, you know, getting him an Xbox, giving him more freedom when, you know, she has him over, you know, a lot more, like, you know, comfortability instead of being a neutral parent right now, which that comes with a lot of baggage there. But yeah, but the point is Olympia's trying to fight it off piece by piece, and, you know, again, Julian trying to morph the conversation about the whole money thing. I'm like, you know, okay, I'm sorry, we didn't report. It's just, you know, he's going through financial trouble right now. His accountant just left his firm under his own legal circumstances, and that he made some incorrect mistakes. And the judge said, okay, for now, I will not penalize you for this, but if we find out there's another secret account, you're fucked, boy. And he's like, that will never happen again. And then Julian rules the motion that because the mom is painting these decisions to basically turn the son away from his own dad, that I think that there is not a fair neutrality between this arrangement right now. So I think it would be best for the fairness of the child if we have full custody over him, over the mother. And obviously this completely usurps it. The judge rules, okay, we'll go through a full custody hearing next week. And until then, if you guys can settle this out of court, that will be welcome. But until then, yeah, we'll reconvene next week. Obviously, the mom is in distress. This wasn't the plan. Like, this should have been like an open shut case. Now, the riskiness of, like, losing her own child is kind of like, you know, it's scaring her on that aspect. Which, again, it is a scary aspect. You know, like, little side note, in my personal story, where I am a child of divorce, my sister and I, we dealt with it. Well, I dealt with it a little bit older. I think I was already, like, borderline a preteen by then. And she was just a young child, so I think it mostly affect her. But, like, for me, like, it was more like they were trying to, like, they did their best to, like, kind of maintain, like, we still had a very respectful settlement in each other's lives. So there wasn't really like that, to be honest with you. There wasn't really any bad mouthing between them. Like, again, like, that's the mom, that's the dad. We're kind of just making the best of it. So that's kind of where I stand on that notion, where, like, you know, trying to fully separate a parent from their child forcefully by the law it's really hurtful. It really, really is. So, you know, hopefully there are conversations to be had to be able to, like, you know, mitigate that. I believe we cut back to the firm, where I think they're trying to figure out their next move. They're also trying to catch up Maddie on it as well as additionally Sarah's trying to butter up Billy, like trying to make him a like, oh my god, he's the A-class lawyer. Like, he came up with this strategy, he came up with this character analysis, and Billy's just like, I'm not gonna argue with you in front of them, but at the same time, he's just like a little uncomfortable with it. But yeah, so he rules the favor that the dad's a bit of an authoritative person. So he doesn't really view certain emotional things in parenting as valid ways. He's more very strict on the ball. And even Billy has a record of his, I believe it was his soccer coach. He basically banned the dad from participating in any more sporting games because they had a big conflict not too long ago. So definitely that would be a great character witness to kind of, decredify the dad as a solo dad without any oversight from the mom. I want to say from there, I forgot exactly. So yeah, Olympia sends over, oh yeah, I forgot there was a scene between Sarah. I forgot there was a connective scene. There was a scene where Olympia runs into Elijah. They're trying to have their own coffee thing going on, trying to catch up a little bit. And Sarah just like interjects, and Elijah gets the hint. And like, okay, well, I'll see you later. And obviously Olympia's pissed at Sarah, but she can't really like say like 100% the truthness of like, her angerness, but he's just like giving mentor advice by jabbing her in the sides. So Sarah and Billy go off to the school to go meet up with the coach, and it takes a little while to get for the meeting. Sarah trying to again use her time wisely to gain more confidence into Billy, but Billy's just again, he's not really buying this whole spiel right now between them. So it doesn't really work out for her in general. She's even trying to she does like the whole like getting closer, like taking her chair and like jumping closer and closer to him, and it's like, what are we? Are we in kindergarten or something? But it turns out like the reason why the coach was held up was because their rival associate, i.e. Sarah's rival, comes out of it and says, hey, so my client is forming a countersuit against the coach for what he did. So right now, legally, he cannot say anything on the record because there's going to already be another pre-existing legal case against them. So he will not be accepting any other lawyer presence at this time, which prevents Sarah and Billy from collecting him as a witness. So basically, they dig a dead end over there. Back to the other scene where Olympia does get a text supposedly from Elijah saying that I can't stop thinking about you. So obviously this is like causing like the ooh, like, oh, maybe Elijah wants you again. Maybe he's ready to slide in finally. Okay, I'm going too far there. But Maddie being like the true friend here, trying to let's say like, oh, okay, maybe this could be something for you, a little positive news in your life. And Sarah tries to interject, and again, similar to before, like Olympia's just trying to like correct her. We're like, going forward, if you feel like saying something, wait 5 seconds, and if it's the correct thing to say, then do it. But most times than not, don't say what you think you're trying to say, because most likely it's the wrong thing you want to say, especially now. I think that ends the first day of the case. I don't exactly remember there was anything. I know there was a scene between Maddie, Olympia, and Julian where like they're witnesses to pseudo interrogation for the child, trying to get his perspective on the whole divorce, trying to see like what is he even. And again, he's just a kid. Like I don't think he's really fully effective. Like his mom and dad are not in the same place right now, so like I don't exactly know where exactly his mind space is. But he does admit like certain times he's with his mom and he benefits that. Sometimes with his dad, it's kind of like like being a child divorced, you don't really think like that much till you get older, and that doesn't really affect you there. But during this entire thing, Maddie gets another flashback to her own custody battle against her daughter, where, again, Ellie's case is trying to testify her as like she is recovering. She just wants a chance, to keep going, to keep proving that she can be a good mother to her child. And obviously, Maddie brings up this like incident that happened less than a month ago, where like, yeah, but not too long ago, Augie got burnt. Aggie? I forgot his name already. Got burned by a kettle, which I'm like, how is that possible? The kid's only 18 years old. There's no way he can even start climbing up a freaking countertop. So there's got to be like, she was not under the right state of mind there. And if she's claiming she's been sober for 3 months, and this happened, like, there's got to be some sort of like what's the word, irresponsibility happening right now, consider between them. And obviously Ellie's just looking back, like, as her mom is basically destroying her character, and everything of the sort. And then even comes to a point where, like, Maddie, like, just basically pulls out the questionability of her as a mom, considering the fact that Ellie was still using drugs when she was pregnant. She couldn't stop. So when Augie was born, he was already addicted to opioids because the blood and the chemicals were already in the same body feeding him. So when he was removed from the mom and then not having that constant supply anymore, because I'm pretty sure even when she was pregnant, she was giving birth, she was still high on something, that it had a reaction. You had to wean off a newborn baby off of this. Like, I'm sorry to say the least. Okay, there is a whole moral argument there where, like, as people say, you don't separate a mom from her child. I understand that, but there are certain cases, like in this case, where, like, if you are a willing parent, if you get pregnant and you want to keep the kid, you have a moral responsibility to give that kid the best chance of development when you're pregnant. Which is like, yeah, don't drink alcohol, don't smoke, don't do drugs, don't do anything extreme that would affect the condition of the baby. If that means living a boring life at home, drinking water, drinking juices, healthy juices, having well-balanced meals, that's what you got to do. That's my stance on it. I'm sorry. If, obviously people are allowed to live their life, but when you're bringing a life into this world, no matter, if it's whatever the case might be, again, whether it's willingly or whether it's by culture, however the case might be, if you agree to yourself, I'm going to carry this kid, I'm going to bring this baby to the world, it is your moral stance, your utmost importance to be their parent, to give them the best possibility to not be damaged, to not be affected, to not have these, obviously it happens. Again, you could have the perfect pregnancy period and maybe your child is still born with a disease, or like, okay, it's unavoidable. Okay, like, I'm just gonna say that much. But if you're constantly risking yourself, putting your body through a dangerous chemical that is not natural to the body just because you have a high for it, and you're not willing to seek help for it, that's on you. That's basically on you. So I agree with Maddie here. We're like, yeah, take away the child. And I'm sorry to say that, I'm really am. But in this case, I know it's a TV show, but, like, this is rooted. I'm pretty sure there have been real life cases about that where, yes, no, she is not a worthy parent. Maybe down the road when she, earns their trust again, maybe we can re-explore that conversation. But right now, especially when he's a newborn, again, at a very fragile age where anything that can happen to him will probably feel even worse than a regular human being. And, and Maddie explains where when he was on withdrawal, like, he couldn't have been stimulated. He couldn't have any contact from his family. He had to be isolated in a pod by himself while he's going through this traumatic experience for weeks on end. And obviously, yeah, of course, like, even the counselor, like, I admit that was a very traumatic incident for you. But again, my client learned from that. She is on the process of recovery. She just needs the time to prove that she can be a good parent, but the kid needs to remain in her custody. And obviously, Maddie continues to, deconstruct the character, and even, like, Ellie just, like, flats out yells to her dad, like, please stop this, like, let's stop this case right now. Like, obviously the dad can't do anything because, again, this is Maddie's decision. They're all here because of her. And then we kind of cut back into place with the real interview going on in the present. And yeah, it's just like, again, Maddie must be going for the ringer right now. So when she returns home later that night, she finds her husband still cleaning the countertop, trying to still be productive here. And again, trying to, like you say, what's going on? Like, you're only really like this when you're bothered by something. But he's like, nope, I just feel energetic. I just want to work. That's about it. That's all I want to do. And then, he's trying to twist it back to the case. Or like, so you still got a plan for Julie and that key card? And she's like, oh yes, a very clean plan. Okay, not exactly 100% clean. She cuts back to the, also I'm trying to be careful here, because in the last episode review I did for Matlock, I actually burned my foot. I didn't burn my foot. I spilled scalding hot tea on my foot. So I'm just being careful. So if you see me off camera, that's why I'm pouring tea carefully into it, because I need a beverage. So we're back at the law firm. It's a brand new day. Maddie purposely spills hot coffee over Julian. She takes his coat off to kind of, give him that fresh air to, like, let the coffee stain like prevent it from spilling over to the jacket. At the same time, she's pulling the quick switcheroo on it, and obviously Julian has kind of changed his demeanor a little bit. He's not exactly 100% warmed up to Maddie anymore, obviously, because he knows she's on Team Olympia right now. So he's kind of trying to be very neutral, but very stern as possible. But Maddie was able to fully get the key card from him. But however, he goes straight to Olympia's office, where apparently he does have some news that apparently Olympia's client, the mother, is trying to run away to Mexico with the kid. Obviously breaking the agreement, breaking all four, and like endangering the child. So definitely he called for an emergency hearing to basically expedite this this custody battle to make sure that the dad does win. And definitely this kind of puts an entire snafu into Olympia's entire strategy right now. We cut back to the mom already there at the law firm. She talks to Maddie, where she explains like, okay, no, I got a call from my dad. He's feeling sick. He may not make it, and he just wanted to see us one more time just in case. So, and I was still within my custody time, but like something I learned when I was a child divorce, where like even if it's your own custody time, even you need permission from the other parent if you're traveling internationally. I think even domestic flights you have to basically have the permission, because it's out of state, it's out of jurisdiction. So as long as the other parent could consent to like, okay, yeah, go ahead for it, then yeah. And obviously she was trying to play a quick one where like, okay, well if I ask him right now, he's gonna think otherwise, and my dad's not gonna see his grandson again, so I'm just gonna take the risk for it. But sadly, she got caught. And that's all she wants to do. And then they start to realize, well, wait, hold on. If you're not in contact with your ex-husband anymore, and he found out about this, how did he find out about it if you didn't tell anyone? And now they're starting to think like there may be a spy, there may be a mole, there may be some sort of like, secret surveillance we don't know about. So Sarah and Billy head over to her apartment complex, but they don't really, it doesn't really turn up anything of the sort. And Billy, again, still continuing to ignore Sarah over this. And then Sarah points out the fact she's trying to find her mints, but she can't find it. She starts blaming her rival, and then Billy kind of minorly explodes again. We're like, it's you, Sarah, it's you, everything you have a problem with, you blame someone else. Like that Maddie took your case, so you blame Maddie. You blame me. You blame everyone but yourself. You're toxic. And obviously Sarah feels for a little bit, but we don't really get the full impact of the scene, because the next door nosy neighbor pops in and just said, hey, I'm leader of the neighborhood watch. I was kind of overhearing your conversation. Like, can I help you guys? Like, you're doing a lot of yelling over here. I'm like, Sarah immediately again, like not taking no shit from her. She's like immediately just turns on her. Like, yeah, her neighborhood watch people are more like the more aggressive people than even actual criminals. So, that was pretty fun to say the least. But yeah, they diffuse and just, again, Sarah and Billy not on the best terms right now. But also they're just trying to figure out, well, how did the husband find out about this if there was no way to track them like on an official electronic base? So definitely there's a bit of cause for concern over there. I think there was also a ruling that sadly, because of what the mom did, they're going to place the child in temporary child service protection, because it's just not safe for him to be in any other parent's custody right now, even before the hearing. So, and obviously the mom's just like, no, because like if something happens, I won't get an opportunity to say goodbye to him, or just like, it's a stranger, like you're gonna leave him alone with a stranger for hours, like he doesn't deserve that. Again, a bajillion million things going on right now in her head, which again makes sense because that's your own child. You want to make sure they're safe and sound, which they are. But again, she just is fearing the worst, that like, what if it doesn't go exactly her way and she never gets a chance to really say goodbye to him. I believe, where do we go from here? I forgot. I don't 100% remember exactly how we get here. We get to one point or another. I know there's another scene between, not yet. I think I know where we're going here. Eventually the mom tries to run away with the son, like eventually claiming like, you know what? Forget the child services. We're just going to go straight to the courthouse together, just to still be together. And Maddie's like, that's not what the court ordered. You need to place him in the hands of child services, and then we'll go to the courthouse together. And obviously she's like, you know what? I have a lot of things in my brain. I think maybe it's better, for the betterment of me keeping my own son, I have a better chance of running away. So she tries to do that. Security guards are chasing after them. She's like, we got all the attention of all the attorneys going around all throughout the law firm, and then she locks herself in a room where, you know, again, like, you know, cornered off with her son. Maddie's just like overseeing it. And there was another flashback before we get to that whole little scene where Maddie like gets to the door, where she has another flashback to I want to say it was a one-on-one with her and Ellie, where they talk about the case, and Ellie wants Maddie to drop the case. Like, say, like, she's hasn't touched it. Okay, not for 3 months, just for a month, but she is making the effort to change. She is making the effort to give Augie a better life. It's Alfie. Alfie's the name. I apologize. I was thinking of a different other show. My apologies. To give Alfie a better life. And Maddie's like, no, you had your chance. Like, you told the court you were sober for 3 months, and now you're telling me you were a mom. When will this end? When will you succumb to it again? And obviously, you know, she doesn't really deny it, but at the same time, she's just like, I don't want to lose my son. I don't, like, he is important to me. He's like my only real family that can, like, really love me unconditionally left. And obviously Maddie's just looking at her as like, no, she's not going to drop the case. She's going to make sure that she gets it. That they get the child. And obviously Ellie's just like, you can feel, I think you can see, like, this is not what she wants. Like, wasn't part of the plan. And, you know, again, we'll cut to that later on, where Maddie's basically playing like interrogation with like a hostage situation diffusion, where like she's just trying to get them to, like, you know, come on, let's go on. We got to get to the court. She's like, no, I want to stay with my son. And again, like, you know, like, the bond between a parent and a child is real. Like, even if, like, the parent themselves are not exactly what you might think of, like, you know, like the what's the right word here? Not exactly like the traditional, like, as soon as you see your child, you fall in love with them right away. No, it's when you have that type of bond, you basically don't want to let it go. You don't want that to get away. You don't want it to undermine anything. You don't want to, because at the end of the day, you know, you want to still see them. You want to still be in their life. You want to still be a part of them, seeing what they're going to grow up to be. And yeah, that's what we noticed between them, right then and there. But however, eventually she does give up. She does agree that you're right. Let's go. Let's do this. So she places him under CS, and then Maddie takes her to the courthouse. Meanwhile, while Olympia and Julian are sadly enacting World War III in the courtroom, and eventually the judge just finds them in contempt of court, so he throws them away in the holding cell for the moment to kind of argue it out. They continue their bickering there until they eventually realize, what are we doing? Like, we're obviously letting our personal beef with each other interfere with the matter of the case. It's obvious. So what can they really do now? But now, to, like, you know, again, they're both parents. Obviously, they're kind of in a similar situation now, but they're trying to be more civil about it. And here they are defending two people that are not having a civil agreement about it. And basically, it's kind of like they're having their divorce custody right now, but getting too much into the weeds of it. So finally, they wise up and decide, let's team up. Let's talk about it, really. Let's see what we can do here. That's at the same time where Maddie and the mom show up at the courthouse, where, like, everyone's not there, and then the judge kind of scoldly and jokingly says, like, oh yeah, I threw those two in the holding cell for contempt of court. I'm gonna let them out right now, but they better be settling this right now with the next time, otherwise this is not gonna be pretty for either of them. So eventually Julian and because I remember there was another scene where Sarah goes back to the neighborhood watch lady, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I got sidetracked with something else quickly, so I didn't really hear the full conversation. But definitely it was an ability of Sarah. It was a showcase of Sarah's ability to get the information she needs, especially when I believe it's realized that actually this person was working with the father to get, like, insight of, like, what's going on with his ex-wife and his son whenever he's not around them. Thankfully being able to kind of, you know, prove that does undermine a little bit of his own innocence in that matter. But however, Julian and Olympia do pull aside their differences briefly to come up with a fair agreement for them, especially once they play back the clip of, like, the son talking about, like, who do you prefer, your mom or your dad? And he's like, I don't care. I just want the fighting to stop. I think maybe he's aware that his parents aren't going to be together anymore. but he just doesn't want any more fighting. And honestly, I can relate to that. Like, I have sat through hundreds of arguments between my parents, even to now. And again, I was a child divorced at 12. I'm closing in on 28 this year. That's that's a long time to witness so many conflicts, so many battles. That, like, at the end of the day, you only have one job, to be great parents. Even if you're together or not, like, you have a responsibility to present this sort of united front to give your child the best possibility of growing up to be the best person they can be. And they finally realized that their infighting between them has been causing their child to kind of be stuck in the middle of them, and that's not fair to him. He deserves to have two equal loving parents that equally respect the other, that are trying to do their best to give him a well balanced life given their circumstances. So they signed up on an even better agreement, especially with the addition that they both have to attend parenting classes, both of them, to improve their skills, and that they're gonna work together now for the betterment of their child. At the same time, Olympia and Julian reaching a very brief common piece, a very brief one. Where do we go from there? I'm trying to remember exactly where we go from there. I think the case is over. I think we cut back to the firm, where Sarah decides to kind of reboot herself, kind of. I guess when Billy finds out what Sarah did with the whole neighborhood watch thing, and especially once she got the confirmation that, like, yes, it was her rival who stole her mints, and so I was like, I don't care. I really don't care anymore, because those sort of things make me a toxic person. And she doesn't want to be. She just wants to be the best attorney she can be, and she wants to have her friend back. And Billy finally admits, okay, fine. How about we just restart? Start fresh. And she's like, yes, 100%. She immediately goes in for the hug, which is really, really sweet, until Billy's the one who's just like, okay, we can stop now. And then Sarah goes back to being Sarah, where, like, she kind of, starts, like, gloating herself over the victory that they just received. And Olympia kind of just barges in on it. She's around like, okay, so what are we exactly celebrating? And then they have a brief conversation until Elijah passes by them. And Olympia decides to go follow him. Again, thinking that, like, oh my God, he confessed to me, kind of. We're ready to kind of give this another shot. I still have a chance. And she goes after him. She just said, I read your text. And he's like, text? I'm like, oh no. That was not meant for you. That was meant for, his lady friend. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, good thing I knew about it. And then she's just trying to play it off. And then she's like, well, I'm glad you're happy. And obviously Olympia's not happy, obviously. I'm trying to feel what if there was something else that happened. Oh yeah, no, so that associate comes to the office of Billy, Sarah, and Maddie, but they're both not there. It's just Billy working a little bit at the Midnight Oil. And they josh around a little bit about, like, yeah, like, well, you already knew, like, it was me, but like you still were not that innocent too. Like, you were basically trying to, like, annoy Sarah with, like, not being on her side for once. And he's like, yeah, I did, but at the end of the day, you still did something kind of shitty. So, and she's like, all right. So, and they start getting to some legal jargon battle, and then she asked him out for drinks. And I'm like, my boy Billy, getting back out there, getting back on the horse. But actually, he doesn't even say yes or no. He just gets flabbergasted the fact that a girl asked him out. So we'll leave it for the moment there as we return back to the Kingston household, where Maddie is making some tea, which, trust me, I can relate to. I'm just going to be very extra careful right now that I don't get spilled on again. She has, like, a brief wandering moment. She touches the hot kettle, and then she gets, like, the final flashback to the case where Ellie's a no-show, and so her and her husband win the case. So they get full custody of Alfie. It's over. They win. They just assume Ellie ran away back to the drugs, so they're like, okay, nothing more there. Maddie's husband does get a call on the phone. It's the hospital. Sadly, Ellie OD'd. And she's dead. So Maddie just slowly having the remembrance of this, where like, uh, everything going on, where like, obviously they're flabbergasted, they're shocked, they have the funeral. Um, that's at the time when her husband brings up like, I got this email from someone that was supposedly a close friend of Ellie's, and they start to figure out what if that's Alfie's real father, and and then at the time, again, that this triggers something in Maddie where she goes into his laptop and she finds the email. And of course, he shows up at the nick of time where obviously she starts berating him like, you knew about the email, and instead of just telling me the truth that you found it, you lied to me about it. And he's like, I needed more time. I need clarity to think, was this the right decision? And again, we're having a parallel to when they're having this original conversation when they just got the email, where where she's saying, no, we shouldn't do that. We just finished a custody battle. We should not gonna go into what if he wants to get off and he has a claim to it. We're gonna go for another custody battle. And he's like, well, I didn't even want to go for this one. And then she asks him a very poignant question, like, do you think this case, because of my actions, led our daughter to kill herself via the drugs? At the time he says no, but in the present day, after again 8-9 years have passed already, he looks at her and he says, sometimes I think maybe we pushed too far. Maybe we should have just let her keep Alfie. Maybe she would still be alive. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't want to, I had something similar, but I'm not going to bring it up because that's way too personal. But even me, Joe, I have limitations on my personal story. There are certain things I can only bring into the conversation here. But he does say like, yeah, maybe we pushed her too far. But at the end of the day, like, we all have our own choices. She knew what she did. It obviously sucks. But sometimes you have to pay the price. If that means losing your son and not seeing him again that often without supervision, okay, it might suck, but you have to pay for your consequences. You should not be doing those drugs. You did it. It's done. It's on your record. Everyone knows about it. And if you end up losing your son, okay, that's it. But like, it's your responsibility to get clean, to showcase yourself as a changed individual, and that, things are going to be different. But she didn't do that. She immediately ran straight back to the drugs. She took a higher dosage and she died. She chose to do that. If she was sober for a month, then she should have had the clarity to like, no, this is not the right decision. We all have demons, but we also have our own strength to get through it, to not let our inhibitions win. So I don't fully blame, like, it's not Maddie's fault. She did what was best for Alfie. I will stand by it. I'm not trying to say that because I'm a Maddie stan. I'm not trying to say that. I am saying, like, if I was in her shoes, if that was my child on drugs with my grandchild, I'll do the same. It sucks, but that's just the reality of it. And then obviously Maddie kind of takes that a bit shockingly, the fact her own husband said, like, there is some moments I think you were responsible for killing our daughter at the end. And we don't get a response from her. We just cut the black. And that was it for this week's episode of Matlock. I found this episode amazing. I really did. The subject material, Maddie basically with more context, we're finally getting to see Ellie, like the real ramifications of their actions. Also, I want to say they did a little touch up on VFX on Katie Bates to make her just a little bit younger. I felt like she looked a little bit younger, or it could have been great makeup. I don't know. Like I definitely feel like they aged down to like make it real, like a real flashback. Okay, yeah, giving the husband just like temporary hair dye was like, okay, yeah, but like, what they did for Maddie is like, whether it's VFX or makeup, that was really that was a beautiful time. That was seamless. I had to squint. It's like, is that makeup? Did she look younger? Like, oh my god, that looks great. And then seeing everything else, Olympia kind of like once again being rejected by Elijah, her conflict with Julian, Sarah on her war path to like kind of recover what she lost. There was a lot of things. I'm a little disappointed though, a little bit that Billy kind of gave up on the whole hating Sarah debacle. Like in one episode, I would have liked that to be a towards the end of the season resolution, kind of really give a little gas on the fire on that one, but again, it is what it is on that portion. But it was nice to finally possibly give Billy a new love interest, someone that's in his wheelhouse. I think that would be more betterment for him, hopefully speaking. And yeah, again, this is subverting expectations. We were expecting a major feat in the Noelle Brexa case, but no, now we're kind of dealing with this like very rocky impasse between Maddie and her husband. Will this affect the case? Will this change Maddie's perspective on things? Who the heck really knows? We'll have to wait till next week to find out. But for me, I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. I loved it so much. Let me know down below what you think of this week's episode of Matlock. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. As always, I would love to have a conversation with you about it. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the first season of Matlock. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two, besides our Matlock episode reviews, we got a jam-packed schedule for y'all. Starting tomorrow, we are kickstarting our Every Reacher Season 3 episode reviews. We are doing... Amazon Prime dropped the first 3 episodes. We are reviewing the 3 episodes in a row. So you have a continuous run. And then on Monday, Stephen Amell's back on TV. Brand new show, brand new corner of the Suits universe and Suits LA. Even though that show's going to start on Sunday because we want to give Reacher the time to breathe, we are going to be doing that review on Monday. So we will be a day late from everyone, but hopefully after that we should be back on a regular Sunday night broadcast schedule. We also do The Rookie every Tuesday nights after new episodes on ABC. But if you don't care about Matlock, you're in luck. We should be back next week with another brand new episode review, so stay tuned until then. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media for more. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there, be good to each other. As always, peace out.